Let me jump to one of the stupidest stories, but it relates to this to a great degree. From The Wrap, CNN's Lisa France calls out Matt Walsh's weird scientific objection to a black Little Mermaid. They have laundered this story several times now. Here's the story. Matt Walsh says on his show, I don't care if anyone of any race is playing any character. It's basically how it was in the 90s, and that's totally fine. I just don't like the double standard. And for that matter, he's like, can we talk about the science of a mermaid? Like underwater, it wouldn't make sense to have dark skin because the sea creatures down there have no pigmentation. So not only would she be very pale, she'd be translucent, like some kind of horrifying floating skeleton. It was a joke. It was nonsense. Obviously, the Little Mermaid isn't a floating skeleton. The next thing that happens is they say Matt Walsh makes racist claim about Little Mermaid. They omit stuff. Then you get David French being like, here's Matt Walsh's argument for why Ariel should be white, which he never said. What? Now the story has become his weird scientific objection to a black Little Mermaid when his whole point was he's okay with actors of any race playing any character. They have laundered the story to that degree. This is the media now. CNN. Lisa France calls out MASH. So what's going to happen now? They've laundered the story. It's completely fabricated. And someone's going to be watching CNN, drooling, staring at the screen, confused. And they're going to say, Matt Walsh said racist things. And they're going to go, whoa. Well, and that's how you entrench the cult.
Tim, that doesn't make sense, though, because the idea of a Little Mermaid is racist because a woman doesn't just have to be a maid. She can be the CEO. She can be the president. She doesn't have to be a maid. So I don't like Disney doing that. These little girls are smart. A lot of them, just because they're good at cleaning and cooking, doesn't mean that she has to be a maid.
Wait.
Great point.
Hold on there a minute. I just kind of thought of something. So it's actually from the word made in. So,
I don't care. I call them housekeepers, but I keep a good one.
Hold on. So does that mean the word maid literally just means young woman? So when you're like, I got to call a maid, you're literally saying I need a young woman?
Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah.
That's kind of funny that like
that
young woman is synonymous with person who cleans your house.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I think it's great.
So here's what happens, right? The Newsweek runs this story. Matt Walsh slammed for saying Black Little Mermaid isn't scientific.
What?
Okay. Matt Walsh's actual segment and quote was hilarious. He said, if anything, not only should the Little Mermaid be pale, she should actually be translucent. And adding that if you look at deep sea creatures, they're like translucent. They have no kind of pigmentation whatsoever. And they're just like these horrifying skeletons floating around in the ocean.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
That's what the Little Mermaid should look like. She should be totally pale and skeletal where you can see her skull through her face. And that would actually be a little version of Little Mermaid I would watch.
Me too.
So this is what Cassandra McDonald, formerly Cassandra Fairbanks, posted. It's like an anglerfish looking Ariel with like purple hair. This is one I really like though.
That one's good.
The Little Mermaid, and it's this horrifying looking skeletal monster. I love how he made a joke about the Little Mermaid having her skull be visible through her face, and then the entirety of the media is just like, we got him, and they run this crazy story about him being racist.
Media matters.
I love these stories because when we can drive to the root of how they lied, it gives you an understanding as to how the media in every facet is lying to you about what's going on in the world.
Matt Walsh also called himself a translucent rights activist, which is important to bring up here. But I think this whole thing is a distraction. I think this, from the very beginning, I think this is just something to waste our time. And I think Disney loves this. I think this is the way that now the major movie industry knows that they could sell the movie by creating controversy. What better way to create a controversy than to create this artificial character that, of course, they know people are going to debate. They know people are going to have conversations about. They know is going to spur on debate. People call this fan baiting, and I think this is all marketing. This is all PR by Disney trying to, of course, promote their movie. At the end of the day, this is what it is.